All right, welcome to the channel. I hope that you all are doing well on today. I hope that you're having a thankful Thursday. In spite of everything that's going on, I hope that you can find something to be thankful for. And one of the things I'm thankful for today is I am thankful that I know what the Word of Yah says. I am so very thankful that I know what the Word of Yah says. I'm not sure which channel I'm going to upload this to. I may notify you guys on one channel and put it on another channel because I'm not sure how this is going to flow. My intent is to make this as short as possible, okay? Because waking up this beautiful Thursday morning to this news coming out of the U.S. with about additional bans, travel bans on persons from various nations, including African nations, West Africa and East Africa, along with the Caribbean, South America, in other countries. It's just, more stuff being piled on. It seems like every day there's something new that's coming out that just fights against peace, the thing that everyone claims they want in the world, and unity. There's just something new that's done that fights against it. So let's get into this. I'm not going to take a lot of time with this. I will be back. For those of you who are in Ghana, Yah willing, I will be back to discuss this, how these type of actions will impact those of us on the African continent and is already impacting us. I'll be discussing how it's just not wise right now in Ghana to make permanent plans without having permanent immigration status. And I will show you why. Okay, the decision is ultimately yours, but if you cannot see what's happening, or perhaps you don't have the information, then I don't know what else to say other than to provide you with that information and let you make a decision from that point. All right, so as of last night, which was the 4th of June, U.S. President Donald Trump signed a proclamation on Wednesday banning the citizens of 12 countries from entering the United States, saying the move was needed to protect against foreign terrorists and other security threats. The directive is part of an immigration crackdown Trump launched this year at the start of his second term, which has included the deportation of El Salvador of hundreds of Venezuelans let me read that again, which has included the deportation to El Salvador of hundreds of Venezuelans suspected of being gang members, as well as efforts to deny enrollments of some foreign students and deport others. All right, so this is the reason that they are giving, in addition to the recent terrorist attack in U.S., the flame throwing attack by someone from Egypt. Interestingly, Egypt is not banned. All right, so the countries affected by this latest travel ban are Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. All right, so you see there are African countries involved here. There's Haiti. Haiti's been banned. This is a complete ban. That means you can't enter in. Completely banned. Complete ban. All right. And the entry of people from 7 other countries: Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela will be partially restricted. Turkey, not Turkey, Turkmenistan. But Togo, a beautiful country that I have lived in, a beautiful country, beautiful people. I feel absolutely safe in Togo with good reason, not just because I feel personally safe, but I remember when we left from Ghana and we were, communicating with people about housing and this, that, and the other. And some of the questions that you ask in Ghana, they literally laughed at us in Togo and said that we don't have that problem in Togo, right? But my son said, "Do you have a jail?" And they said, "Yes." He says, "Well, then you have the potential of having that problem because you have a jail, all right? So, or you could have some sort of problem. But as far as having the level of crime and the threats that you encounter in other countries, Togo is relatively a safe nation, okay? And they do function as far as police and officers and doing their job. I've seen YouTubers from Ghana complain about, being stopped in Togo and questioned about certain things at national parks. Of course, you're at a national park. They're going to ask you some questions before you enter the national park. You have to sign in, you have to present ID. If something happens in that national park, they want to know who's in the park. That's pretty much the same all over the world. When you enter into national parks, most often you're checked. All right. They want to know who's in the park. If there's an emergency, they need to know who they're looking for, who they need to go in and rescue. If something happens, they want to know who had access to the park. So that's just, to me, that's proper management. All right. But overall, it's a wonderful and safe country. Sierra Leone, all right, which once opened its doors to the diaspora, offering citizenship for $500 with if you can prove that you were a descendant of Sierra Leone, all right, through DNA testing. Has since changed, and they went from $500, which I thought was too much, to 1 kilogram of gold and up to like what, 65,000 per person, 65 to 75,000 per person, basically making their citizenship. 1 kilogram of gold is 110, about $110,000 now. So basically 175,000, 185,000 per person. All right. Citing that the diaspora, those who are true diasporans, were not, coming in and building things that they wanted them to build. Well, if you don't have the infrastructure, they can't. All right. So this is what's going on, guys. I'm just letting you all know what's going on. It takes effect effective the 9th of June. And the world is changing. And like I started out by saying, Thankful Thursday, one of the things I'm thankful for is I know what the Word of Yah says. I know what's going on. I know what the scripture says is going on. I know why everyone is going to their own countries right now. The only thing is real Israel, real Judah, Benjamin, all right, and Levi scattered to the four corners of the earth is like musical chairs. We're going to be the only ones standing because we don't have a real country. Because we have been scattered, the word of Yah says we will not have a real country until Yah himself sets us in place. All right, so this is what's happening. This is what's going on. As I've said in previous videos, get your house in order, guys. Pack light, pack light, pack very light. Digitize stuff, get stuff on, USB drives, important things to you so that you can be able to move at any time. Don't put all your money in these countries. And if you do not have permanent residency in this country, at least permanent residency or long-term residency that guarantees that you can be there, don't put your money in the country big time. If you do, see it only as a business, all right? Not as some place that you plan on, especially if you're relatively young and you have children. And you don't cut off all your ties from the countries that you're coming from. That's what I'm saying. If anything, if you don't own land in America, buy you something so that you can land there when you get back, even if you have to pitch a tent on that ground until you can get settled, all right? But please, these countries have not come out and supported us the way that we hope that they have. And I'm going to show you, including Ghana, how they're going to retaliate. All these countries are going to retaliate against the U.S. They already are. And not only that, they're moving towards citizenship by investment. And I'm going to show you why it is not wise. It is not wise. Do what you want to do. It is not wise to put all your hopes in these nations and all your funds in them without them giving us anything in return. They don't see us any different than any of these other nations. We'll discuss that later, and I'll bring the evidence. You do with it what you want to. All right. Shalom.